Welcome back to Great Day. Before the school bell rings and class is out for the summer, we want to say thank you to our teachers. Good Reason Houston is also honoring schools that are closing achievement gaps and creating environments where all students can thrive. One of those schools is Melillo Middle School in Pasadena ISD. Joining us to share more on the initiative is Meron Tekle with Good Reason Houston, Jennifer Salceda, the principal of Melillo Middle School, and Dr. Tony Lopez, the superintendent for Pasadena ISD. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
All right, Meron, you and I were kind of joking in the commercial break there where I was a class clown, you were a little bit of the class clown, but we were both good students. So educators, both of you didn't know what to do with us, did you? It was like, no. Okay, they are not paying attention to causing problems, but they're getting the lesson done. They're making the grades. But go back to when you were in grade school. What was it that you liked about it?
Relationships.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was the relationships. I just loved being in a social setting where I could find deep connections with friends that I still have from kindergarten today.
Yeah.
And just connecting with people.
Yeah, and then later, I think all of us find out that later the impact that a teacher may have had on us. Later, we realized the importance of education. You became a teacher's assistant in college, and then back to Houston to teach math and science. You started out you thought you were going to do something else, but back to Houston to teach math and science. I should have been sitting next to you in school because I needed you in the math part. And then you went off to Rice University.
Yeah. I went to Rice University and I got my MBA, and I had this thought, we're in Houston, oil and gas, but education kept pulling me back, and there was just not a space outside of the school where I really felt that I loved what I did. So I ended up right back in education as a principal.
Yeah, wow, okay. We have talked about this over and over again, how across the country we're putting a closer look on education. Education's somewhat in a crisis in some ways, but it has to keep on moving. And there's a lot of talk about, can children pick what school they go to? And the thought behind Good Reason is, why isn't the school down the street and around the corner, bike right away, walk away, why isn't that school good enough? Let's make every school good.
Yeah, exactly. We at Good Reason Houston, the hope is that, and the goal is that every public school is something that students can go to and they can learn and they can enjoy the experience. And so while definitely promote school choice and people having choice, there's also the idea that the school next to you should be able to give you what you need in a really beautiful way.
Yeah, that was the intent, right, for our public schools. Houston Schools That Inspire campaign, you took a little bit deeper dive into the schools that are doing exactly, we'll complain a lot about schools, but we're not looking and celebrating the schools that are doing the right thing.
Yep, so Houston Schools That Inspire, I said I was a principal. When I was a principal, the way that I improved educational experiences for students is I was always looking for what I could improve and what to make better. And then I had my own kids, and all of a sudden I saw the world in this beautiful way. And that lens applied to the work, and me and my colleagues at Good Reason started thinking, what would happen if, yes, we looked at what needed to be fixed, but we also started to ask ourselves, where is there beauty and inspiration currently in our schools, and what would happen if we focused on that and grew it? And when we start seeing the world in abundance, how does that change our education system when we focus on what's good?
Yeah, and you talk about having your own kids. I gotta tell you, my son was a tough one. He was your ADHD, dyslexic kid, but super smart. And I realized that teachers were spending more time during the day with him than I was, because that's just the way the school's set up, right? And that they were going the extra mile. I would get an email at 11 o'clock at night, and the teacher saying, hey, I thought I would try this. What do you think? And God love them. I love the teachers that I had. I love the teachers that taught my son. Melillo is one of those schools that is doing great, and you are a principal, Ms. Salceda. So what made you go into education?
Well, I'm a proud product of Pasadena ISD, and so I had a lot of inspiring teachers and coaches, and I just knew that it was a passion and a calling for me, and I'm very grateful that I did it.
Yeah. So what did you do with the class clowns?
Well, at Melillo, we provide a lot of different experiences for them. We provide a lot of movement activities, offered lots of different fine arts programs, clubs, after-school clubs, during-school clubs. So we give students different avenues to get that energy out.
That's such an important part. I think we used to do more of that before. We kind of became more streamlined, but you realize that just like in the world, we have different personalities, right? People take different jobs for different reasons, different careers for different reasons. And so when you do that, it makes learning more flexible for students.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. You're also able to tap into what are their strong interests. I know we want kids to be great at everything. Most people aren't great at everything unless you're going to Rice and getting MBAs like this one over here. But so if you can find what makes them seeing that's what they're going to do for a career choice. Like, I was never going to be an architect and build a building because the math component for me, but I'm going to talk, right? So just tapping into what is that child's natural self.
So what we do at Melillo, of course, we have high academic expectations. We really try to bring in our community, so we get that collaboration from our parents. We mentor our students, and then, like I said, we provide all the activities. We have a robotics class that they can take, art, band, choir, orchestra, A+ academics. I mean, you name it, we try to give them those opportunities.
Yeah, and I love that art component, because I know for a while there everything was science-based, but it's like I got great lessons in music. Music and arts are great as well for stimulating a child's mind. All right, Dr. Lopez, you got into education, why?
Because there were teachers that inspired me also. So I think it's appropriate. This week it's Teacher Appreciation Week to bring that up, at how much teachers matter and what they do every single day.
Yeah, you started teaching 6th grade?
Yes, I did.
Bless
6th grade
you,
math.
bless you, right? You went into the middle school there. All right, you were also an associate superintendent of human resources,
yes, ma'am,
which means you dealt with teachers as well. I think a lot of us, are guilty as parents of kind of just shoving our kids off to school and say, you deal with it. It's a lot of stress. That job can be very stressful, and teachers go into it willingly, choosing to do that. What do you want us as parents to know about the teachers who show up at school every day?
That they love your kids and they care about your kids, and they're trying to do the very best they can to help them succeed in the next level. And sometimes it's a hard job. They have 25, 30 kids in a classroom, and they're trying to meet the needs of every single kid. And so sometimes just giving some praise and grace. Anytime a parent can send a little note that says, thank you, I appreciate what you did for my child, I think is very helpful for our teachers.
Yeah, and you say anytime a parent can send a little note. And today's time, it's so much more convenient. We can email you. We can, we can have a Zoom meeting with you. We don't have to take off work and, show up at school the whole bit. And you're right, it goes a long way just to say thank you. All right, speaking of saying thank you, you all have a program to say thank you.
Yes, Houston Schools That Inspire recognizes schools, but we also want to recognize the teachers that are in the schools. So we have a program called Houston Loves Teachers, and look, it's just about celebrating teachers, having a good time. We have 60,000 some teachers in Houston that are doing the work every day. So Houston Love Teachers is our way.
Yeah.
We just give back, and we love food trucks, food trucks, events, check giveaways. We just love on the teachers.
Yeah. All right. We know a lot of kids are heading off to college next year. Some of them might not know what they're going to major in or what they want to be when they grow up. But Ms. Aceda, what would you say to them to consider education?
Education is a very rewarding career. We definitely, in our district, we always feel so supported, and that's what we do for any new teachers. We give them a lot of support. We give them a mentor to make sure that they are successful, and we also have instructional coaches in our district, and they also support the teachers. So there's a lot of support. There's a lot of love to go around, and it is a very rewarding career.
Yeah, and Dr. Lopez, there's also so many levels to it. You can remain a teacher for your entire career or go into administration like you as a superintendent. Someone asked me the other day, what does a superintendent do? The simple answer is a lot, but tell me what you're responsible for.
Well, we're responsible pretty much for student success and making sure that we're decision making based off what is best for students. But not just that, it's partnering with community members, working with our amazing school board to make sure that our students have what they need to be successful throughout the day. And then also my job is to be the chief storyteller, making sure that we're out there, that our community and our parents know the outstanding things that are happening in Pasadena ISD, just like Melillo Middle School and all the great things happening there. Yeah. That's one of the roles of the superintendent as well.
And that's a good reason to go into education. Thank you very much, ladies. To learn more about the Houston Schools That Inspire campaign and the work to improve public education in Houston, visit goodreasonhouston.org.